Hello guys, how you guys doing today? I hope well. I'm coming with a review about episode 2, season 4 of the game. So basically, the episode today to me was a little dry. I guess because like the first episode was like so dramatic and we had like so much scandal and it had to catch up with 2 years worth of drama. So yeah, episode 1 was just like jam packed. This one for me was just a little bit like hunky dory. Like, oh, okay, it didn't really pick up until like the last 15 minutes. Basically, the beginning I knew was a dream because like really, Tasha, you're that much of a punk, and I'm on a pepper spray diet. That was corny. I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. So that was a little bit whack. And then also when they were in the house and they all took their shirts off so that they won't record the reality show. Hi. What sense does that make? Okay, I have some female friends who I am very close to, and I may be in the same room with them and they change impromptu or, whatever. But just to take my shirt off at a round table with 2 of my girlfriends, that's beyond weird. And that just makes no sense. And then, that's your house. Why don't you just tell them to leave? Okay? So that to me was just like dumb. Yeah, and then the whole thing with Jason getting cut. Okay, I'm not a Jason Pitts fan anyway. Like, his character always annoyed me throughout the show. And he even furthermore annoyed me like when he was like on Benched and he was like talking smack about Derwin and Malik. So I was just like, he is so homo. No offense. I was like, whatever, that was a bitch move. Then also, okay, let's talk about the parts that stood out to me, because I don't want to dwell on the negative. I want to get to the good scandal. Malik, for the first time, actually made sense. Derwin, first of all, you are a multi-million-dollar basketball player. Why, oh why, are you claiming a son and you not even determine paternity? Now, great, that's honorable. You want to, take care of yours. Okay, you want to do that. But you need to make sure first, for you and for your wife and your future, that that's not really your baby. Like, duh. And Melanie from the get-go, 2 years ago, should have been like, as soon as that baby pop out, we need to get DNA. Period. Because you had the power in a relationship 2 years ago. Now, it's a different situation. He's a star and he's bringing in most of the income and you guys are good now. So there's a power shift. If all those out there who think that, power doesn't exist in relationships, you're naive. I'm sorry. You have power plays in a relationship, okay? And it's never 50-50 power. Someone always has upper hand. And my mother always told me, the person who cares the least controls the relationship. And I find that to be very, very true. 2 years ago, when Durham cheated on her, and, they was going through their drama, he was with Janae, he had the baby mama thing going on, then he was with that singer. She had the power to make him do what she wanted him to do. So that should be one of the stipulations for them to move into their future together, is to clear up that situation and make sure that that baby was his. So there was no questions later, there was no drama to the extent of, was that his child? Okay, that's the first thing. Now, secondly, Derwin, who do you think you're talking to? When he punched that wall a second time and he was all like on her, I was like, boy, you better back up. Who are you flinching at like that? And then also for me, okay, granted, Melanie should have told him as soon as the girl called to her, but just realistically, even though it's a TV show, if you think about just in real life, when you find out that you made a boo-boo, you gotta kind of, think about, okay, well, how am I gonna break this news to this person? You gotta think about what's your next step. Because she was already scared to tell him that it wasn't his, and then to find out that it was, it's like, okay, now, how am I going to tell, after I did all this, he's all upset, how am I going to now tell him that's not his son? So she had to kind of like get that together first. So of course, right off the bat, ideally, it would have been nice. She'd have, okay, Darren, she just called me back. That's not your son. But that's not the type of news that you just re-break. You just don't want to rehash those feelings up again, especially when he looked like he was moving along. Now, back to Darren, who you talking to? Janae and my son is my business. You don't need to bring that up to me. First of all, when you're married, all business is y'all business, especially when you're talking about a child, and especially when you're talking about having a relationship with a former partner. That's your wife. The marriage is never going to work if she has nothing to do with that situation. Now, even yes, like she should have input with that child. That child needs to, be raised with expectation. Like, okay, this is your stepmom. This is another person in your life who you can look up to, who, is going to help nurture you. She needs to be another nurturing parent. It can't just be that has nothing to do with you. You guys are married. You guys are one. If you just say, okay, Melanie, that's not going to work. Because we already know Janae is jealous of you. And also, we already know that she wants Darwin. So she, especially with this situation happening now, she's going to use that against Darwin. And Darwin loves this child. So with all that emotion that he has for that child, that could potentially, spill over. You don't have your wife there, and your wife is not a part of that relationship, and she doesn't have a hands-on part of that relationship, so that the baby mother knows, okay, my wife is in this with me. You are playing around with some serious stuff. So I already know the rest of the season is going to be some real drama surrounding those three. Newsflash, Janae. Honey, you're not going to get broke off. Let's just keep it real. And this is just for like any young girls out there who may watch my video just by chance or whatever, who's thinking, oh, I'm going to find me an NFL player, blah, 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 who I'm going to have their baby. You don't, like that whole part where she's like, oh, when I'm done with y'all going to have to downsize. Listen. First of all, when it comes to child support, you only get a certain percentage of their income. And then what they have to do is like they'll pay. Okay, for instance, say he makes $15 million a year, right? Most of the time, if he has a good lawyer, mind you, a good lawyer, you'll get, for instance, $6,000 a month. And then he'll pay for like the child care costs, the health insurance, extracurricular activities, security. He'll pay for all those incidentals, okay? That's what he'll pay. But in terms of you basically living at the same lifestyle of his wife, it's not going to happen. The child support laws are there to protect the child, and ideally the child live a lifestyle similar to the father's. But you're not going to be broke off. $6,000 a month, that's a decent supplemental income where you, of course, can take care of a child. But you're not going to be living like Melanie, Janae. You're just not. That's a fairy tale. And just beyond TV, that's a fairy tale in real life. A lot of these girls get pregnant by, these athletes, or people who they think are going to be rich athletes, haven't even made it yet, but already getting knocked up. They think that this is like their golden ticket, and it's not. A lot of times they're still struggling, and a good part of it is because they're dumb and they don't know how to manage their money. Because honestly, if you're doing backhanded things to get the money, most likely you don't know how to manage money. Because if you did, you'd be making your own instead of trying to spend somebody else's. Point blank. So, yeah, when Janae was like, oh, and you guys gonna have to downsize. No, boo-boo. No, boo-boo. It doesn't work that way. And also, he hopefully Darren is smart and he has like receipts for the $10,000 he was giving her, here and there. He has receipts for that to show that he has been taking care of his child, because he doesn't want to get stuck with that back pay child support. But definitely I'm kind of like going a little too far deep into it, being that it's a TV show. But yeah, for me, those were the moments. Overall, top 3 moments. Malik actually made sense for once. 2, Derwin, how the hell you gonna tell Melanie she's not gonna have anything to do with you and your baby mother and your son's situation? Where they do that at? And 3 would have to be Janae. Grow up. Like, seriously, you can't expect, honestly, first of all, like, you should have expected when out the gate that he was going to question paternity. Out the gate. Because wasn't you messing with Hill Harper season 3 as well? Okay? And then on top of it, I can't have you come into his life and questioning his paternity here and there. Okay, why would he do that if you just gave him results that clearly stated that it was his son? You know he loves the boy. And even when he didn't think that boy was his son, he was still at the house with you and his son. So what are you talking about? I just don't like Janae. She rubs me all the way wrong. But yep, that is just my views on the game. I hope you guys enjoy the video. See you later.